Hangout is live on the air. Good morning, Noodlers. This is Paul Romero with the SellaHouse Wholesale Real Estate Training, number 62 today. I was looking at 61 there. And this is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. We are going to be here tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. for another little session here. It is Christmas Eve, I understand that, but 8 a.m., you'll probably be the only one up. Now, if it was Christmas Day, that's another story, which is why we're not doing this on Christmas Day. So tomorrow will be the last day of this week. We'll do this 8:30 tomorrow morning, and probably try to keep it around 30 minutes. And so you can get in, get out, and get on with your Christmas Eve holiday events. Take yourself into Christmas on Thursday. Enjoy your day, and enjoy the rest of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hopefully, spending time working on those 3 days, because you've got 3 days now to yourself. I mean, you've got obligations tomorrow. It's Christmas Eve. You've got Christmas Day. I know there's not going to be a whole lot you can get done on that day. But remember, you can always put things in the mind, and it's a good day. Christmas Day, obviously, you're probably going to be around family. You're going to have friends and family around and whatnot. That's a good day to actually apply some of the things that you've learned with your self-development. You're dealing with other people, especially if you've been reading the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is a great, great time to, amongst people that that you're familiar with, to sort of implement some of these systems, some of these methods of dealing with people, of communicating with people, of, showing, a genuine interest in what other people are talking about, using your skills, practicing your skills to, keep the conversation off of you and keep it on them, so that they feel really, good about you because you're letting them talk about themselves. Practicing all these little skills within that book. This is a great opportunity for that. So anyway, what we were talking about yesterday and Friday leading into this was, the whole idea of this is the end of the year. We've got 2 weeks here of, brain function mode going into idle, going in, because it's holiday season. Nothing's really happening until after the 1st. Maybe, you're doing some things, hopefully, like I said, taking some time to yourself here to work on some things, work on your business, keep putting things into your mind. Your mind is always open for business. It never shuts down unless you allow it to. So we started talking about how to look back on your year of 2014 so that you can project into 2015 what your goals are, and how to best achieve these. And we talked about the fact that your number one financial goal for 2015, and really for every year, your number one financial goal should always be to earn more money. Period. Bottom line. End of conversation. When you look down, when you can map out your 2015, your next year, right now, and you can go to December 20th, 2015, and you can set the date on there right now, and you can say, goal to achieve, having earned more money, and how much do you want to earn? How much more do you want to be earning? We talked about, hey, in the world today, increasing your income by 20% a year is probably a pretty decent mark to shoot for. So if you're making, whatever you're making now, take 20% of that, add it on, and by the end of the year, be making at least 20% more. Now, I will be straight up honest with you. If you're making less than $50,000, 20% a year is not going to be enough. You need to increase that. You need to shoot big. You need to go for figuring out a way to double your income by the end of the year, okay? Because anything under $50,000 right now is not a very comfortable place to be in this world. Anything, between $50,000 and $100,000 right now, you guys might even want to be shooting for double your income, because, it may feel like a comfortable place today, but I guarantee you this world is changing faster than it's ever changed before. I mean, just look at the price. We talked about this the other day. Look at the price of eggs. from a dozen eggs from just a few years ago at, anywhere from $1.99 to $2.50 approximately for a dozen eggs. Go to the store right now today, over $4 a dozen, almost doubled in a short period of time. Okay, that's eating into your income big time. And if you're 50 to $100,000 income right now, it might feel okay. Gas prices are down, all these things, and mortgage interest rates are down, all these things are down. Everything feels comfortable right now. But look ahead, look back. How many times has we've seen these similar situations where everything is down, and while we're not looking, prices of everything else is going up, like food and utilities and things like that. All that stuff is going up in value while certain things are low in value, distracting our attention from what's going up in cost. And then the next thing you know, all the things that we were focusing on, they start to go up. And that's when we realize, oh my God, what happened to all this stuff over here? Now it gets difficult. And it happens over and over again. Look back in history. That's how it goes. The price, the distraction of one thing that oh, everything's great because look at what's going on here. Everything's inexpensive, yada, 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 while the price of something else slowly creeps up. The next thing you know, the price of what you were looking at, that starts to creep up, and now everything's expensive and you don't have enough money. And that's how it works, and that's where we're headed. So you need to figure out how to make more money, how to make a lot more money, how to make it fast. And like I said, the $50,000 to $100,000 range right now might look good, might feel comfortable, but look down the road. Think about what happens when gas prices go back to $6 a gallon. Think about what happens when interest rates on houses go back up to 6, 7, 8%. Think about what happens when all these things. Okay, $50,000 to $100,000 is not going to be enough. That's where you got to look ahead. You can't look at now. Can't look at, oh, everything's good now, I'm okay. That's not good enough. You have to look ahead. You got to go, oh my God, I'm okay now, but if this happens, I'm not going to be okay anymore. So I got to get ahead of that. How do I get ahead of that? That's where we're trying to get you at right now. And the best way to do that, obviously, what we talked about here is to look back. Okay, where were you? Where were you 1 year ago? That's what we're talking about. Start 1 year ago and figure out where you were 1 year ago and lining this whole thing out into where you are now, because you have to become aware before you can create change. So before you can create change, you have to become aware, and you have to become aware of where you are right now. Once you become aware of where you are right now and how you got there, that's the important key, is how did you get from there to here? And first of all, looking at the fact that, hey, is there any difference from that? Am I in the same place now that I was a year ago? And if that's the case, obviously there's something wrong. You need to be able to get to a better place year after year. So then we can start looking forward into where we're going. Now, we talked about real quickly how to look back, and that was to go through and make your list of the dates. And we started talking about the money first. Go back and make a list of the dates. Pick a day, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, that you want your week to end. Go all the way back, look at your 2014 calendar, and make a list of let's just say every Sunday. You picked every Sunday. You want your week to end on Sunday, begin on Monday. So you start with January, the very first Sunday in January, and you write down, January. Let's just say it fell on the 1st or on the 7th. So you write 7, 14, and make a list. So now you have a list that looks something like this. All the dates down one side, and you have a nice list. And then we told you to go back and look at each week and tabulate up how much money you earned for that week. And we want to talk about three categories of money: your gross, the total amount of money that came into your life, the after taxes amount, which this may or may not apply depending on how your business is or what your situation is, but you might have to figure that point out later. But however that goes, your after tax amount may or may not be in there. And then so you have your gross, your total, then you have your after tax amount, then you have your net. So now you got a list like this: all your dates down one side, and your gross, your total going across, and then you've got all your gross totals listed here, your after-tax total listed here, and your net totals listed here, which your net totals are the pure income. That's what I call it. The pure income after your expenses. Now you might consider that to be if you're an employee and you get a paycheck every week, after your expenses, you might look at that as, hey, after I pay my rent, after I pay my bills, after I pay for the car insurance and all of that stuff. Just the rent and the bills, you might consider those your expenses because you have living expenses. You have to live. So you might consider that, and then you might consider things like your food and clothing and all of that. I wouldn't put those into you can if you want, but I wouldn't put those into expenses. I would just leave my bills. So you subtract out all of your bills, and then you have a amount that you're left with, and so that gives you a chance to look at how much money you had to pretty much live on each week. And it might that would be where you would include your food, maybe even the gasoline for your automobile. I mean, that's stuff to live on. So you got to drive around, et cetera, and so on. So all those sorts of things. The clothes you got to buy, the food you got to buy. The things you have to pay for the kids. All that stuff comes out of your net then. So you have those three categories. Once again, that is your gross, your total income, your after-tax income, and your net after expenses income. All right, and then we asked you to chart that, and we said to make a graph that looks like this with the numbers, dollar amount going up the side, which I think 500 is good. Some of you might be able to use 100, 200, 300, 400. Some of you may need to use 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, because for your overall that we talked about, these are going to be multiplied by 10. So you need to make sure that this top number is going to exceed the annual total net or gross income that you earn, because we're going to chart two things. We're going to chart your gross or your after tax, whichever one you want, and then we're going to chart your net, your after expenses. So you're going to have this top one is going to be your gross or your after tax number, and that's going to pretty much can kind of be set. Pretty much, and then your expenses can vary, obviously, so those will be down below. And then the third thing that we asked you to chart on here was, like I said, your running total week by week. How much did you earn? Which is why this line right here is slowly going up, because hopefully every week you earned money, and you earned $700 week one, 1,400, another 700, another 700. If you're an employee, obviously we talked about this line is pretty much going to be just a straight angle, no changes, because it's the same every month. Your paycheck is the same every month, and boom, there it goes. If you have a business, it could fluctuate depending on these two numbers up here. This could fluctuate, but it should. Hopefully, you're earning money every month and every week in your business, and it should continually go up. It might go up by different amounts. So we have these three things to chart, and we talked about what's the importance of this. Well, this gives you the opportunity now to look back and see, well, where did we do good? Where did we not do so good? And then give you the idea to be able to look at, okay, what were we doing when we did good, and what were we doing when we didn't do so good? What were the factors here? So this gives you the opportunity to make these changes and to grow your business in the way that you want it to grow. All right, so that's what we talked about. That's where we got us to so far. And, we talked about a couple of different charts. Like I said, if you're an employee, your income chart is probably going to go up right in the beginning to, let's say you make $700 a month or a week, and then every week you make $700 again. So it's pretty much going to be a flat line, but then your earnings is pretty much going to be a straight line going up like this. So we talked about that. We talked about how business can be, all jumbled up, and what you want to see in a business is pretty much kind of steady growth week by week on your income, and also steady growth on your running total. That's what you want to see, but you don't always see that in a business. And we talked about the fact that when you have the pyramids up and down all the way to the bottom, another pyramid, that's not good, because those are spaces where you didn't make any money at all, and that's not a good thing. Excuse me, getting over a cold, but haven't missed a hangout. So anyway, that's where we are. Now today we're looking at oh wait, I wanted to leave that open. Today we're looking at where am I starting at? Oh, okay. Now, what's great about this chart. We talked about now making this chart, this same chart here, making one for 2015, putting all your dates in over here, putting your numbers in over here, and you got a big blank chart, right? We talked about doing that so that now going into 2015, every week you can put the numbers in there. So each week you can go, okay, hey, we made this much this week, great. Now we made this much this week, great. Look, we were improving. Then all of a sudden, boom, whoa, what happened? We didn't do so good as last week. You can immediately see what's going on. Whoa, something changed. We were going up and up and up, then we went down. What happened? So this gives you the opportunity to immediately, going into 2015, be able to analyze what's going on, because we talked about the fact of this being able to give you, looking at 2014, you can look back now on a whole year, but hey, looking back all the way back to what happened between January and February of last year, you're not going to remember all that stuff. You're not going to know what was going on exactly during that time because it was a year ago. Going into 2015, this gives you the opportunity to be right on top of it, figure out, whoa, what's happening right now? Maybe we have to make some changes. You know what I mean? This is where the power of this lies going into 2015. It's really going to give you the opportunity to earn more money and achieve that goal that you want. Okay, so and here's a couple other things. You might want to go ahead now and create a few other graphs, and you might want to graph out. Like the money that you've saved every month. You know, you might want a savings graph, you know, where you have each week going across here and your numbers going up the side, whatever it is. If you're saving $25 a week or something like that, that's coming out of your paycheck automatically, you know, you might want to put numbers here that start with $50 and move them up $50 increments, you know, whatever it might be, but create a graph for the money that you've saved every month. You might want to create a graph for every one of your 5 money management categories. Your financial freedom jar, which is actually probably your savings jar, the one we just talked about. That's your financial freedom jar. You might want to create one for your long-term savings. You might want to create one for your education, and you might want to create one for your giving accounts, and track these things too. And here's an example how these might look. If you're, here's your. Hopefully this is your savings jar, and every week you're putting in more and more and more and more money, and it's just going straight on up like that. This could be your long-term savings jar right here, where hey, you're saving. It's going up and up and up, and then you have a project that you're looking to buy, so you spend it all, and then it goes up and up and up and up, and then maybe you spend maybe not all of it, but then it goes up and up and up, and then you spend some. That's what long-term savings is for big-term projects. Okay, then you might have your education jar, where you might be saving, going up steadily, and then all of a sudden you spend it all, going to some event to get some training. All right, then you might have your give jar. Might look like this, where you go up, maybe you give a little bit, maybe you give a little bit, to the church on the weekend, maybe you give a little bit to the guy on the corner, maybe you all of a sudden, maybe you make a big donation to your favorite charity, and then you go up and you give a little. So your give jar could have a lot of variations in it. And finally, oh wow, I guess that was your education jar. That was your long-term savings. What is that one? Oh, I missed your play jar. Yeah, your play jar, obviously, that's going to be month by month. That's going to be up and down, because you're going to spend it all every month. Up and down, you're going to spend it all every month. Up and down, that's your play jar. I'm sorry. This one's your long-term savings, where you save, and then spend. And this one's going to be your education jar, where maybe, as you go along, you're learning, you bought a book, you went to a class, you went to a seminar, boom, caught up money, up and down, and up and down, and up and down. And then this one is your give jar, where obviously you're going to save some money, you're going to give it away. You're going to save some money, you're going to give it away. You're going to save some money, give it away. So you might just track those just to see what's going on, with your money management system, and how things are progressing in that area. And it'll give you an idea of why, maybe certain things aren't happening. You could cross-reference these against this and see when and where, and if you were keeping up, and if you were money, and if you were indeed managing your money the proper way that you have set yourself up to do so. All right. Are you kidding me? I just, oh man, time just flies by. It's so crazy. All right. Now, before we jump into anything further here, the next thing that you should do before we look into analyzing these graphs a little bit further and moving into 2015, setting that up, what you need to do now, what you should do now, is now you should create another outline. And this is an outline of yourself, okay? This is where we want you to look back on 2014 again, and we want you to analyze throughout the course of the year all of the tasks that you had to perform in earning that money. Okay, everything that you had to do. Now, you can do this in your if you're an employee, you can do this in relating it to the stuff that you do at your job in order to get your paycheck. Okay, because this is, you know, you want to analyze what's happening in your work so that you can hopefully increase your paycheck, right? And if you have a business, this really relates to a business a whole lot more, but it still definitely relates to you as an employee in looking at what you do at your work so that you can improve your income. But as a business, you want to look at all the things that you spent 10 minutes on. If you spent 10 minutes on it at any point in time during 2014, you need to write it down on your list and make a list of all the tasks. And as you're going down and you make a list of it and you think of a task that you did, think about how much time that you put into that over the course of the year. So if you think all of a sudden, you know, hey, well, you know what, man, I had to clean the bathrooms myself 5 times this year, and so I probably spent an hour each time doing that. So that was 5 hours that I spent cleaning the bathrooms. So that's what you want to have, is you want to first create a list of all the tasks. Okay, I was doing A, I was doing B, I was doing C, I was doing D. You know, I was writing checks, I was scheduling, I was checking the production. You know, all of those things. Okay, make a list of everything that you personally put time in. All right, if you didn't put any time in it, don't write it down. If there was a task that gets done in your business and somebody else handled it 100%, don't write it down. You didn't put any time in on it. Okay, only the tasks that you yourself personally spent your own time in and doing. All right, that's what you want to do. Then, as I said, you want to go back and you want to make a list of the amount of time that you spent in it. So now you have a list that looks something like this. Each and every task, how long you spent in that task. All right, then you want to go back and take. Then you want to go back and you want to take that list, you know, of all the tasks that you had. These, you've been writing them down randomly, and you've got the numbers of how much time you spent in there. Now you want to go back and put this in order. Now you want to go back and say, okay, I have done all these tasks, and if I look at the time, I want to order them from the least amount of time to the most amount of time. Okay, I did task A. I spent 3 hours last year doing task A. I did task B. I spent 9 hours doing task B. I did task C. I spent 25 hours doing 33 hours doing task C. I did task D. I put 97 hours in last year doing that. I did task E. I put 168 hours in doing that. And all the way down the line until you get down to the last task, you know, I spent, 247, or might even be more than that, 757 hours doing task Z. Okay. So that's what you want your list to look like. And so with this list right here, now, let's see here. What we want you to do next is to take this list. This right here with this items right here, this will just give you an idea of all the things that you spent your time in, in running your business or in working your job, all the areas where you actually had to put your time in. Okay, that's what this list gives you so far. The next thing we want you to do is create a third column, and I'm just going to have to ruin this one because I don't have time to drop a whole other one. Okay, so we want you to make a third column, and this is going to be your enjoyment level. All right. I want you to go down this column, and on a scale of 0 through 10, I want you to write a number with 0 being, can't stand spending 1 second doing this, but I did. I put 3 hours in doing it and didn't like every second of it. That's the 0. And 10 was, okay, I only spent 9 hours in this, but man, I had so much fun. I love doing that. That's the greatest thing in the whole business. If I could spend more time doing that, that's what I want to do, right? So that's what you want to do is rate each one of these tasks 0 through 10, all the way down. All right, so we want to know, how much do you enjoy? How much fun do you have working each one of these tasks? The next thing that you want to do is make another row right next to that, and that's going to be your ability. All right, now you want to go back. Now you know how much fun you have in each one of these tasks, how much you enjoy each one of these tasks. Now we want you to go down row 4, and with the same scale, 0 to 10, 10 being, I suck at, 0 being I totally suck at this, and 10 being I'm probably the best guy on the planet to do this task. I want you to rate each one of these things 0 through 10 as to your ability, into how good you are in performing that task. Okay, and so that gives you 2 sets of numbers there now. So the third thing that we're going to do after this, so this gives you an idea of all the things in your business that, hey, these are all the things that I like to do. These are all the things that I don't like to do. These are all the things that I'm good at. These are all the things that I'm not good at. What are these two, just these 2 columns right here alone going to tell you? They're going to tell you where, you need to start getting rid of some of the things that you, A, don't like to do, and B, some of the things that you suck at. Because you know what? Everything that you suck at, you're keeping money out of your business, because you're having to spend way too much of your time working on it because you suck at it. Because it's harder for you. It takes you longer than the average bear to get done. All right. So this gives you an idea of what those are. Same thing with the things that you like to do. You love to do this, so and you don't like doing this. You have to do this, but you don't like doing it. Well, that creates your own frustration within your own self that, is a derogatory, negative effect on your whole business. When you're doing something that you don't like, obviously you're not happy. And when you're in your own business or your own job and you're doing something that you're not happy about, you're exuding negativity around you, and you're drawing negativity in, and it just brings everything to a screeching halt. So that's the purpose of these 2 lists right here. These 2 columns is to determine what you're good at and what you love, and so that we can figure out where to spend more time. Now, here's the trick. We want you to make a column 5 right here, and we're going to leave that one blank, and then column 6, we're going to call column 6 your me score, okay? And what we want you to do in column 6 is we want you to, let's say that you went down here and your enjoyment levels were this: 0, 7, 3, 4, 9, and your ability levels were 8, 10, 3, 10, 6. Okay, so we're going to look at this and we're going to say, okay, look at this. My enjoyment level, I can't stand doing number 1, but you know what? Hey, I'm pretty darn good at it. You know what? Number 2, I kind of like doing this, and I'm really, really good at it. Number 3, don't really care for it much, not really good at it. You know what I mean? Number 4, don't really care for it much, but gosh, man, am I good at doing this? The other one, opposite, pretty much. I really really, really like doing this, but I'm only so at it. Okay, so that gives you an idea right there. Combining these 2. And so that's what we're going to do right now, is we're going to combine these numbers into your me score. And over here on the other side, you're going to have 8, 17, 6, 14, and 15. Okay, out of a possible 20 now in your me score, look what we have. Task A, we got an 8. Task B, we got a 17. Task B, we got a 6. We got a 14. We got a 15. This is out of a possible 20 points between these 2 columns. This really gives you a nice little outline here of what is, the areas where you really should be spending your focus on. And I'll tell you what, right now, everything that is under a 10, or actually a 10 or less, including a 10, because that's only, a 10 is only 50%. You know, I'm only 50% good at it, and or 50, you know, I'm only a combination of 50% good at and enjoying this. You know what? Anything 50% and less, that's the stuff you need to get off your plate as quickly as possible. So in your me column now, you can see right here, wow, look at this. This is an 8. Because I hate it. I'm pretty good at it, but it's still only an 8. But the fact that that's, you know, only an 8 right there, I need to get that off my plate. And then this one down here, this one, you know, I'm not good. I don't like it at all, and I'm not good at it at all. It's only a 6. That's something that I got to get off my plate completely. So you start getting these types of things out of your business, out of your world, out of your life. Just think, there's 6 hours right there next year. There's 6 hours right there next year that you have to focus on maybe this area right here. That's a 14. That's pretty, you know, you maybe you don't, or actually let's put it on this one, you know, a 9. I really like doing this one, but I'm only a 6 elevation at it. So you take those 6 hours and you apply them in this area, and maybe next year, now you're a 9, and maybe that becomes a 7, and you increased. And if you increase those numbers, that's where you're going to get increased income. So that's how we got it. That's where we're at right now. Take your list, or do that. Evaluate all your tasks. Everything that you had to do to earn that money. Make that list, okay? And then let's determine how much time you spent on each and every one of those tasks. Let's determine. Let's put them in order from the highest or from the lowest. The amount of time that you spent, the ones that you spent the least amount of time in, the ones you spent the most amount of time in. Excuse me. And then let's label them as to how much you enjoy performing that tasks, you know, your enjoyment level. And then let's label them as to what your ability is. How good are you at performing that task? And then let's create that blank spot. We're going to come back to that later, okay? Because we're going to refine this down even further. So leave that blank spot there, move over to column 6, get your me total. You know, how much do you like it? How good are you at it? What's the total on this? And let's look at the fact that, wow, there's a whole bunch of things here that are 10 out of 20 or less that I need to start looking at in 2015 to eliminate out of my life. And it's going to make me be able to earn more money. All right. Well, with that, everybody, it is 9 a.m. And man, I am nowhere close to getting to the end of this. So we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll move on into the next level. We're going to be working on this list a little bit further. There's some more things to add in here and to really refine this down. And there's actually a few more tweaks that we're going to make after we do that that are really, really going to pinpoint exactly what you need to be focusing on. That's going to help you sort of set your lineup for 2015. First things that I need to, you know, eliminate. First things that I need to, you know, adjust my time, apply my extra time towards. That's what we want to do. You're eliminating, you know, junk out of your time and adding that free time into the areas of, you know, the greatest expansion possibilities for you. That's how we're going to increase your income for 2015. All right. So with that, everybody, I'm out of here. 3 minutes late. I'm sorry, but oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to create riches by knowing what the heck's going on all the time. More wisdom I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, so that I can control and direct my own mind to whatever ends I might desire. All right, guys, everybody out of here. Have a good day, and see you tomorrow morning. Christmas Eve morning. Going to be a big show. Very, very good stuff we're going to get into tomorrow, so I hope to see you there. It's only half an hour and maybe 34 minutes, but nobody else is going to be up. It's 2